If you haven't read the Fabius Bile trilogy, it's
fucking nice,
no,
man.
I
It's
haven't
nice.
I'm
still trying to get
almost
through the
done
Horus
with the
Heresy.
second book, and then I have the third book already ready.
The
already in
way,
the
no,
chamber.
no spoilers, but the way he solves the main conflict, or like the big bad evil guy, so to say, in the third book, is so I love it to death because it's such like a stupid, simple solution, but you're like, yeah, that actually makes sense.
Bro, Fabius Bile has become like one of my probably most favorite 40k characters so far. I mean,
Easily.
I'm very, I'm very fresh in like reading 40k lore, but
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of
he's just a bitter old man.
I mean, it establishes in the first book, right? Because he's basically 10,000 years old. He has to make new bodies to transfer a soul into because he literally has fucking super cancer. Apparently, they didn't continue the tradition of shooting CEOs into the 41st millennium, so apparently that hasn't been solved. And they go on from that. And then a literal fucking demon. The guy's like, God doesn't exist, and then fucking God sends down basically a fucking demon, and demon's like, what's up? And he looks at the fucking demon and says, no, you don't. You don't fucking exist.
What do you think healthcare is like in the 41st millennium?
Non-existent.
You know, like the video of the fucking servitors from Dark Tide? Quite frankly, it's that majority of the time, right? Unless like you're lucky enough to get a practitioner or some low level stuff.
It's just a bunch of back alley freaking surgeries and shit happening.
Half the way, I mean, it depends. Honestly, you probably have more healthcare options, no lie. Because, like, oh, if you're in a hive city, they got fucking everything. If you want a back alley surgeon, you got a back alley surgeon, right?
I mean,
if you're in the guard, you got surgeons, you got cybernetics. You're a space marine, you're fine, right? You get that premium plus ultra membership, silver card.
Just about everywhere. Think of Space Tijuana. Quite literally Space Tijuana.
So hive cities are just space Mexicos?
Yes.
What's the Simpsons characters like Dr. Nick or something?
Dr. Nick.
Hello, yes. Welcome to my clinic. Oh, you're here for leg amputation.
Yeah.
No, very good.
Hey, everybody.
Except for hive cities. Hive cities are like Space India.
We've been over that. That's a horrifying thought. Please, let's
crazy.
not. Let's not.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, all the
Full
call
disrespect
centers.
intended. Let's not think about that.
Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding, ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding,
Imperial
ring-a-ding-a-ding.
hive cities are just one massive call center.
We've done that before. We can't say that again. Stop
Yes,
it.
we can. We can keep doing jokes.
Yes, we can.
We're
Because
not-
it's still
This is
true.
how
we
we
don't have enough videos
This is
out
how
to
we
be
establish
repeating
Serpent's
jokes.
Lodge lore.
Listen, I know everything is canon. We are not making the Serpent's Lodge canon that fucking hive cities are just Space India. We're not doing that.
Hive
not?
cities are 100%.
No, they're not Space India. No.
Come on.
No.
You know they are.
No.
The amount of
Welcome.
people that's
refuse.
around.
It is not India. It is not Neo-India. It is
You
nothing in
cannot
between.
tell me that
Okay,
Necromunda
so-
does not sound like an Indian name.
Necromunda does sound
Necromunda.
like an Indian name there, sir. It is very popular that it's located next to
This keeps up, I'm just gonna get racist.
Necromunda.
I will get racist.
We know you can. You did it during the
in chat.
Salamanders episode.
That wasn't even mostly me. That was mostly fucking like Groot.
It was.
He's married to a black woman.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Is that where the
It was
racism
Groot.
comes from?
No,
Just being married to your wife?
probably.
I don't know if that
I
pass
can see-
transfers
She's
over to
she's
the
like, can you
31st.
please take out the trash? You're like watching some TV show and you're just like, damn it. Slowly, like you start like dragging a hood out from underneath the couch or some shit. You keep a tally mark as like increasing increments of fucking racism, and it like pairs with the chore list that she makes.
That's the one thing I love about your wife, though. She can be racist as hell, and it's like, where's this coming from? You're talking about your own people now. Like, what the fuck?
Yes, my wife is more based than I am, and it's sometimes it scares me.
Heartbreaking. The most racist man you know is married to a black woman.
Who is more racist than he is, apparently.
No, that's like an actual thing though that I find funny as fuck. As like obviously a general rule of thumb is it's been a meme that I've seen going around and it's been funny where it's like most racist man you know is married to a brown woman. Have fun.
Oh,
I'm not racist. I'm just saying.
You are now listening to Mercy FM. This ain't your commissar station.
We are talking about the one, the only, My Chemical Corax, and the 19th Legion.
Emo.
Also,
Edgy.
before we continue, I do have to apologize if you hear certain noises in the background. 3D printer go burr right now.
No, that's a
and
vibrator. Ignore
It
that.
sounds like
You know
it's done.
It might be. Huh?
That's
Has it-
convenient.
Has it been 5 hours already?
We just had a very like industrial base for the cold open. That's it.
Yeah, actually, it's complete. So you may not hear anything in the background.
Very
Actually,
nice.
cool.
That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
The fact that your fucking 3D printer has a camera inside of it.
That's
dude,
so
yeah,
dope.
it's pretty fucking neat, and the whole app monitors the app monitors the printer and everything like that. So if it runs out of filament, it'll let you know, like, hey,
That's
there's
cool.
no filament in here. Or if it gets jammed, it'll tell you, hey, can't extrude the filament.
Corn is
Oh.
quite literally our Tony Stark.
He is, but also he's not beating the Mexican accusations with the what was it, the fucking wow, that would have been a really good funny bit if I just fuck up Carpenter. Thank you. Okay. That
Look,
would have been a really
yes.
trust me on this. That would have been a funny bit if I didn't forget what the
I
word
did
carpenter
used to
was.
work construction, so
yeah, so you're still building stuff in your off time. Yeah.
yeah. When it comes to the 3D printing, I kind of am like this Tony Stark. I'm like,
It's
ooh, I want to
dope
make
as
this
fuck.
now.
Yeah. Dope as fuck. I love
But-
that shit. Wait, so I didn't use the coaster. I'm gonna
Oh yes, the
Wow,
lovely
you
corn
savage.
toasters.
Yeah, I know, I was being a savage.
So
It's okay.
The
You had it on your
coasters.
sensory map.
yeah, it was on the sensory mat, so it's not like it was a big deal.
So where would we
Yeah.
like to start on the Raven Guard?
Ugh. How much is there on the actual Legion itself? Because I feel like there'd be more on Corax.
I
than
see
there
him
are on the
holding
actual
one
Legion.
page.
So we can. Well, I have 2 pages.
Oh, never,
I have 2
oh,
pages.
Never mind.
He's got
Two.
2
Okay.
pages.
So I guess we can start with the basics. Obviously, Primarch is Corvus Corax. We are talking about the 19th Legion now.
Just pod, go quick.
Currently, their chapter master is the Master of Shadows, Caven Shrike. Homeworld is Deliverance. Fortress Monastery currently is the Raven Spire. Their war cry is Victorus aut Mortis, which is Gothic
Victory or death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally, the recruits of the 19th Legion, I didn't find like an original name. But they were recruited from the tribes of savage but technologically adept Xeric warriors.
So like back before they met Corvus. and
Yeah,
all
this
that
was
stuff.
was back 19th Legion, old times, unification
Olden
era.
days,
There we go.
Yes.
Wait, so they didn't have an original name?
I don't think so. Did they? I didn't see one.
I don't know.
And usually if they don't, they're just called whatever numbered legion.
Yeah. No, I am not seeing a name here at all. They might have just been the 19th Legion for the longest time, or
Yeah.
GW just got lazy and never decided to.
They don't
name.
deserve a
They
name.
don't deserve it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, with as much lore as the Raven Guard have, like, it's not really surprising.
Rest in peace, Raven Guard players.
Um,
I'm sorry.
Interestingly, though, they were used for, obviously with Raven Guard, their big thing, they were used for infiltration, reconnaissance, and target identification.
Right.
They're always known as, really stealthy, the all black armor, usually they're like, usually they're like snipers,
Yeah.
the sniper-esque type deal.
They're almost like the recon force in any armed forces, right? Where
Right.
it's sort of like they scout out, specifically within they scout out, they do of course the reconnaissance, and they're usually a lot more about very quick and adept strikes, right? So where like Imperial Fists, you build a wall, right? You fortify this location, navigate the situations where like they come to you and you can defend the wall, easy
Right.
enough. World Eaters, you don't give a shit, you just fucking chuck yourself at the opponent. Raven Guard is okay, according to our recon, we know the enemy general, we know this captain over here. So therefore, if we can take out the captain, that's going to lure the general out. Then we can take out the general, and they can organize this and then basically do a very swift attack. It's almost like a combination of, White Scars and Alpha Legion to a degree, where they move fast with everything they do, and but it's an execution blow, right?
Right.
So it's to a degree kind of similar to Sons of Horus, except it was more about like minimal weapons used and more accuracy in what you're doing as compared to overwhelming force of the blow.
Making that one bullet count.
Exactly, yeah. So therefore, they have a lot of, all the way back in 30K, all the way up to 40K, they have a lot more of like fast-moving vehicles. They have a lot of more snipers. Of course, the recon make more use of like scout squads, stuff like that. It's all about know your enemy, behead the Hydra, and after that, you don't have to kill the body. You kill the head, right?
Don't they have like the certain like gene flaw from Corax where they're like super, they like almost blend into shadows real well?
To a degree. So one of the main gene features is that obviously their skin's like super pale, super white, just a very, very almost like ghostly to a degree. And some of them do carry on kind of the Corvus gene effect where like they almost seemingly blend into the background. Now, part of that is due to the training. Part of that's due to like the Geneseed process.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to what we talked about the Night Lords, how some sons can have like the gift of foresight, but often, obviously, lesser extent than what the Primarch had.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to that. So Raven Guard are stealthy, they're sneaky, and they will stab you whenever you least expect it.
So speaking of their Geneseed, they have two unique things with them. So the melanchromic organ, which is what gives them basically has a unique mutation that gives them the pale skin and all that stuff. But they also don't have a Betcher's gland, and they also don't have the mucranoid gland, which is
The stasis one, right?
no, that is, I believe that's the sus and membrane.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Yeah, the mucranoid one is so the Astartes have this, like they can sweat this substance that gives them like protection from extreme heat and cold, and can even provide some protection when they're in a vacuum. It can only be activated outside, treatment. So like they can't activate it themselves. Somebody has to activate it for them. And it's usually common when they're going to go be fighting in space or, somewhere that has a vacuum like that.
The Belcher's gland is the fucking acid spit one,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
No, they can't spit acid.
They can't spit acid, and they can't, if they're fighting in a vacuum or
and
in
they
extreme
can't
heat or
sweat in
cold,
space.
yeah, they can't sweat to that substance to protect them from it.
Fucking losers.
So
Okay, I'm glad we know how you feel.
they also have a thing called the Sable brand.
Oh, that's probably something cool that
So the Sable brand is responsible for them effectively their hair going completely white and their eyes going pitch black. And what the Sable brand is, it's almost akin to the Blood Angels Red Thirst.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna go ahead and I had to pull it up because that was actually kind of interesting. I'm always interested in their Geneseed flaws and everything. So it says
that is like your shtick.
yeah, it's kind of my thing. It's like, okay, so what is it? What is their flaws? What is it about them that makes them unique
Makes
from
them
others?
tick.
And it says that some of their number are prone to battle madness, known as the Sable brand, which consists of cold-blooded determination to fight on with no regard for self-preservation, coupled with the inability to separate the whispers of the dead from the words of the living. It's thought to be an original flaw in Corax's Geneseed. He might as well be Clorox. You see how white that motherfucker is?
Corvus Clorox.
But it's marked by someone's eyes becoming completely black. And the effects aren't permanent, but it's present it's often ever present in those who suffer from it. And Corax actually, during the Great Crusade, organized these guys into anyone who was suffering from it into a unit called the Shadow Killers. But then after Isstvan V, he stopped doing it because he was like, well, we got fucked up. I can't be wasting troops like this. So, but they do have anybody who's afflicted by it, and doesn't snap out of it, they become incarcerated. Like once they get back to, I guess, deliverance or whatever, they jail them and then use them for experiments to see if there's a way they can cure the Sable brand. But all this done is secrecy, so nobody knows about it.
I enjoy like the ever revolving door of Legions having like that one fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And they all have it, but none of them can admit it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, if you all got it, just yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's like, oh shit, we got another one. All right, what do we do with him? Well, just jail him, and the apothecaries can use him to study how to make him not that way again.
We can lock them up and study them. Cool.
Experiment on
Don't
them.
tell anybody about this.
Not even Dad. Don't tell Dad.
Don't tell Dad at all. Well, Dad's in the warp somewhere, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, no, that Dad knows about it. I'm talking about bigger Dad.
No,
Oh,
don't tell Grandpa.
Don't tell Grandpa.
Granddad's senile and in life support. Ain't nobody's worried about it.
Grandpa has a skew vision of multiculturalism. Don't tell him.
What's his Big E just like the racist uncle at like Thanksgiving or some shit?
Big E is actually the tree in that fucking video.
Gilman walks in with your brain, and the Big E just gives a look. It's like
Fucking Horace
you're not fears.
Abaddon drops down. Gellerman, I'm here to stop your fascist regime.
What's your problem, Big E? You sent him to Chud dimension. You gotta go to the Chud dimension, Big E. Come on.
Who the hell are you? I'm John Grammaticus.
Anyways,
I'm no longer alive. I'm on a throne now. I'm decrepit. I can't do this anymore.
and
Hey, you
Big
think
E really is just like the fucking granddad from like Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
Hey, you think the throne has wheels on it?
The golden throne's a hover around.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying, considering his last thing was a battle where he got mortally wounded and super fucked up, I'm just saying he could look like one of the little like speds in the wheelchair. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god,
that's all I'm saying.
Is the Emperor now Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, he's like the super like splayed out arms and stuff. He's leaning back. His like face is arched, like his face and head is arched up to the ceiling. He's going, ugh. Yeah, like realistically, like
Pretty much, you can just watch it. You can just watch TTS.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, is TTS where we're at right now with it?
You kind of just, if you take it and put it through an AI voice chat, through an AI, and just give it Stephen Hawking's.
Okay, we can't talk about the Raven Guard. Okay, so
Anyways,
So
yeah, back to the Raven
we
Guard.
set the basics.
Yeah, we set the basics. To the My Little Pony jar.
My Little Pony jar. Yes.
So
Man, that's cursed.
the My Little
Really
Pony
gross.
jar of Corax, as he Dragon Balled himself off, he got sent to a moon. He got sent to Lycaeus. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I pronounced it.
Yeah. So he got sent to the moon of Lycaeus, which is the moon of Kievar.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a forge world.
Dun, dun, dun,
Da-da-da.
dun, dun.
He was found in a what was that dude's name? Fuck. That should have been something that I added, but I didn't. He was discovered in a lightless chamber. And he was only discovered because a team of mining slaves were pursuing a mineral. They were, I guess, pursuing a mineral stream. It's, I guess, the moon is like a mineral planet for the Forge world.
Yeah, so what happened was that basically the moon above the planet was basically a slave mining operation. Right, so anytime there's like political dissidents, people who committed crimes, just people the ruling body didn't like, oh, slavery, here's your collar, ship up to the moon, and of course they would mine it for resources sent back down to the planet, right? Lo and behold, some slaves are going around, they're mining away because that's their entire thing. It's going to be a case of, well, you're sent up there. If you have any children up there, they're going to be slaves their entire life. You kind of go from there. But they're mining and they just stumble across a fucking baby, as you do. And babies in your industrial mind, more likely than you think. Click here to check. But that's kind of what they did. And they eventually were like, this is not fucking normal because you don't find babies in fucking mines. And they actually took them back and they also hid them
especially in a fresh mineral seam.
Yeah. Something like, well, maybe the real gems are the babies in our lives. Those little shitters. Never know.
He was a diamond in the rough.
Well, he kind of was. But what ends up happening is his basically adoptive family kind of guards him against the guards, because the guards were known to be, of course, like very brutal treatment of the slaves, of course. So you get regular beatings, you're withholding a ration, stuff like that. Generally not a good arrangement, but also they're slaves. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, held in jail cells until, you know, it was time to work again.
Exactly. So what they ended up doing is they basically went on ahead and tried to hide him. And what they found out one day, specifically what Corax found out one day, because is that, oh, look, for whatever reason, the guards can't see me. The dude was straight up the Invisible Man. Yeah.
So to give more context on that, because I do remember that part, and that was actually kind of interesting. In the cell that he was with was his father type figure. Again, I don't know the name. I was trying to look and see if I could see it, but they were there.
He's very shrouded in mystery, like
I remember them saying the dude's name, but I cannot remember.
And don't worry about it. It's his father.
But yeah, he was his father figure, and the guards were coming in one day, and there was like a trap door or like a secret compartment, like in the floor or whatever. You had to move a stone to get in there, and I can't remember what led up to it, but Corax went and hid in there, and it wasn't too deep, but it was probably a good maybe 5 feet long. And it was just big enough for him to fit in there. And he was hiding in there, and the guard came through and I guess noticed the stone or whatever, and he just poked his head in. He opened it up. He's like, oh, what's this? What we got going on here? He poked his head in and he looked, and he was looking in there. And Corax, the whole time, he's just like pushing himself farther and farther against the wall in there. And the guy's like, huh, there's nothing in here. Oh, that's weird. Why is this even here then? And proceeds to just go away. And that's when Corax found out, like, hey, I can't be seen if I don't want to be.
people can't see me.
Yeah.
I just prefer the entire idea of a baby, for whatever reason, despite the fact that presumably there were babies in the prison population, that the idea of a baby being into the secret chamber was just so foreign to him that he preferred the alternative idea that he's just tripping balls. He's like, no, nothing here. Like the dude's secretly like just super fucking blasted out of his mind on like during his fucking shift. So he just like, yeah, this can't be real. No, anyways, next cell.
Yeah. He's on an acid trip or whatever. Like, man, I gotta cut back on this shit. All right.
It's like Caliban Kush, man.
But ever since he made that discovery, Corax actually started testing it. He started, if I remember correctly, he tried it in the hallway around some guards. He found a shadow and he kind of snuck in there, and sure enough, like no one could ever see him. And he always kept that he always kept that in mind, but it gets a little fuzzy after that because Deliverance Lost was so many fucking books ago. Yeah.
Well, one of the big things that he also he was relatively able to go around, but he never pushed the bounds. Now, part of this, you guys know the story of you guys know the idea of elephant and the twine, right?
No.
So the entire idea is that whenever you're raising an elephant, presumably in India, going back to that, is
it's a cow, sir.
No,
cows are sacred in India.
No baby in here. No, sir. No, sir. But what you do is when the elephant's a baby, you have a big chain around the leg, right? So it doesn't run off anywhere else. Baby elephant, you don't need that big of a chain, but it learns it cannot go past a certain limit, right? Yes, the big chain physically can't. As it gets older, you gradually reduce the chain, so it's no longer like a giant metal chain. It's now like a big leather rope, right?
Yeah.
And maybe if the elephant's a bit older, tried hard enough, it could get out of that, but it couldn't. And by the time it's an adult, you replace the chain all the way down to basically just twine. But the elephant is so conditioned to being, I can't get out, and never tries to get out. And it's sort of, seriously. So now granted, that's what I've heard. I'm not an elephant. I'm not a fucking elephant vet or some shit like that. So
well, it's almost like it's almost like the frog in the boiling pot.
Yeah, very much
type of thing. So, yeah.
But it was very much a case of what reason would he have to leave, right? Because his family was there. I mean, the people he grew up with were still there. Slaves, despite the fact that slaves are still a resource, you don't want to waste them. It's not like guards were just massacring them in like a Kurz level of comically evil or anything. So he had no reason to leave until eventually it finally gets up to basically him throwing a revolution because his adopted father says, now's the time. Because they realized Kurz was special, right? Because aside from the fact he found a baby in a literal fucking mine, which that by itself, that's some fucking crazy ass shit. But also
He grew.
He grew really fast, right? So obviously we're all familiar with the average stage of like infant to maturity, stuff like that for humans. For Kurz, that was approximately like rough
Corax?
spitballing. That was roughly like 2 years.
You mean Corax?
Fuck.
Oh, you did say curse.
Bad bird, same diff. Anyways. But yes, that was actually something they noted of. Like they had a hard time like making clothes for him or anything else because he just grew that fast.
Yeah.
And this is important to know because other people will go around and say like, oh, Primarchs grow and they're adult in like 2 weeks. No, it's more like 2 years.
Weren't they also having like a huge problem like feeding him?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, again, it's been a while since the book. But honestly, I would almost chalk that down more to the fact of they're slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also you have somebody you're not supposed to have, right? So it's sort of like, oh, we have 5 rations, but we have 6 people. What do we do? But that being said, he grew, and at that point, whenever, like, listen, we know what Angron did when he was a kid, and the Eldar tried to kill him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even a child as a Primarch is fucking terrifying. As an adult, they took one look at him and said, "Oh no, we can actually pull off a slave revolt. We can fucking do this."
Yeah.
So that's whenever he was kind of directed and said, "Now's the time," and they coordinated this stuff. And this is where not Kurz, I'm going to fuck this up the entire episode.
Oh man, this is going to be like
Corax.
my hiccups.
Yeah, this is going to be fucking Corax. At that point, got into kind of like that again, the combat doctrine of reconnaissance, right? Reconnaissance, fast strike, stuff like that, because he can move wherever he can without being seen. So therefore, whenever it came time, he's like, well, let's go see what's in the guard room. Let's go see what's over here. What do we need to unlock this door? Oh, who has that? And they can had all the intel they needed. So whenever the time came, the slaves not only just won in a facility designed to dig, but also to keep them contained. They broke free from that when they were literal malnourished slaves, by the way, reminder, with basic bitch, like probably rocks to begin with before they secured weapons,
Yeah.
to very, very quickly taking over the entire fucking place. Like the entire thing.
There is one special thing about Corax's big, Houdini disappearing act.
Yeah.
He can still be seen by technology and auspex.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's only like
the naked eye.
Yeah, it's only physical eyes that can't. If he doesn't want you to see him, can't see him.
The flesh is weak.
The flesh is weak.
But fun fact, this goes back to a few things, by the way, just before we move too far on, is the Primarch's different abilities with whatever they do, right? So Perturabo with Olympus, obviously. Corvus, looking over there, make sure I don't accidentally say Kurz. Corvus, he wanted to stay hidden, right? The guard poked into his cell. He couldn't see him. All these different things that these like halfway superpowers that they develop seem to be almost induced by stress, right?
Yeah.
It's like anything that's like stress related, like they are adapted to their condition. Same deal like we said before, all the Primarchs landed on human worlds, which in the grand scale of a galaxy is fucking insane, by the way.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they grew up as where they were growing up, right? So in the same case, Vulcan landed there, and despite the fact, at least hypothetically, a Primarch's genetics would be so secure from radiation, he wouldn't have the excessive melanation that appears in Vulcan or anything else. Jagatai, presumably, was originally swapped with Fulgrim, so why does he look Asian like everybody does on Chagoris, right? It's because Primarchs can presumably adapt to what they where they're at and their situation, and that's where they get that initial development. Corax, his first main thing was basically recon and fast strikes by the slaves because you had to take over this place very quickly because if they had more soldiers come up, the rebellion is squashed, right? So that being said, that formulates his entire dogma of war going forward. Was that first event basically on the moon?
Yeah, everything he had to do had to be stealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have access to weapons outside of maybe the mining equipment that was there. He didn't have access to equipment. He didn't have the leisure of just being able to come and go when he pleases and shit like that. So everything he did had to be stealth, or else he would get caught.
Yep.
So, yeah, he developed stealthy tactics. everything about
Corvus
it
was the OG Gene Stealer Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and it's crazy because before he was even found, the Great Crusade was already 100 years in. Like it was already a century before he was found. So it just goes to show you how long some of these motherfuckers have gone without being found.
Yep.
And how they had to live during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because there's a parallel here because as the riot's going on, well, I want to say he like finished the riot and he like wins the riot, and Big E, that's when Big E fucking
Because when he was talking to Big E there, him and Big E were gone for like a day and a night, and there were no like records of what they were talking about and stuff. But at the end of it, Corax agreed to join Big E as long as Big E would take care of the Kievar and bring him into the Imperial fold. That was the stipulation for Corax joining.
Deliverance Lost was so long ago. I'm not even, bro. I've been out of Horus Heresy for months now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hell, Deliverance Lost was about 3 or 4 books for me right now, like ago. So yeah, there's a lot of things in there that if it didn't strike me as like, oh shit, that's fucking awesome, or oh shit, that's some crazy stuff, it kind of got lost in the fuzzy.
Yeah, that's like at minimum like probably 20, 30 books away from me right now.
Yeah.
It's
so
No, sorry. It was at the end of the revolution, because they knew they would not come to the negotiation table. They dropped nuclear bombs on the planet. So it does like full on go on ahead and they say, fuck you, drop bombs. But it was directly after that is whenever the Emperor showed up.
oh
yeah.
Yeah. Because like this is one of the big things also is going back to reading between the lines is a little bit suspicious. Who was a Primarch that was found before Corvus that the Emperor jumped in on a bit too early?
Besides Angron?
Well, I'm thinking of Angron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So isn't it kind of suspicious that as soon as Corvus's rebellion is over,
Oh, there was a parallel. I was
There
just
was a
wrong.
parallel, yeah. that, oh, look, now the Emperor comes in. And this kind of ties back to the World Eaters in the sense that the Emperor probably truly thought that, he knew there was no choice. Either my son is going to die or I have to do him. Because we are seeing this kind of habitual habit of him going back and only interrupting in, like, the Primarch's own, like, first war, as I'll call it, right? Like,
Right.
you have Mortarian's first war, you have Angron's first war, you have Corvus's first war. And he only interrupts if he knows my son's not going to win this, right?
Yeah. Or he has a very slim chance, like slimmer than I'm willing to bet on.
Exactly.
Probably watching Corax going,
He's got this.
he's
got this.
doing good.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
and until the nukes came, he's like, oh shit, all right, hold on.
Oh God!
Well,
Whoa!
That escalated quickly.
Well, the nukes were almost a firework, and to a degree, I mean, it was brutal, 100%. But at the same time, it worked because that was the only people who could threaten Corvus's entire, basically, family at that point, right? Was saying, yeah, you've probably seen Attack on Titan, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the entire the enemies over there. Whenever they're gone, will we be free? That type of thing.
Yep.
That Eren Yeager does. Yeah, it was that entire thing. And guess what? They were gone now. So yeah,
We're
you're
free.
free. Yeah. So
Kievar was liberated, and now Lycaeus gets named Deliverance. Da, 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 da.
Yep. It's named Deliverance. And why is that? Why do they name it Deliverance?
Because it was delivered
From
slavery,
okay.
like the
I
the
was-
South.
I don't know what other reason it would be deliverance, but yeah.
I don't know. maybe it
Because
was named
I don't
after-
know, because it sounds emo.
Oh, or maybe because it's Space Georgia. I don't know.
Damn.
For anybody who's living in Georgia listening to this, I'm sorry. Not sorry for what I said, but sorry that you have to live in Georgia.
God damn.
You have to live that close to Atlanta, I should say.
At least it's not Birmingham.
Low bar. Low bar.
Please, let's not get on the Birmingham thing again.
Anyways, aside from pissing off more people. So anyways, going off of this.
Listen, if you live in Birmingham, you're doing it to yourself, okay? You can move. You can move. You
And
can
the
leave
man
that
doubles
place.
down.
You can leave that place. I was there for 3 days and I wanted to leave after the first 10 minutes. Your roads make no sense.
All right. So obviously at this point, Emperor meets up. Let's go on from after that.
Corax joined the Great Crusade.
Yay!
Yay.
Woo!
All right.
Yay.
The only thing he really did was he melded stealth and guile with vigilance and swiftness, so he pretty much established what was already
Raven Guard
established.
shit.
But
Yeah.
not right off the bat
What do you mean not right off the bat?
because he was not reunited with his Legion for 20 years.
Well, that's the standard for the Primarch. I like you're both correct.
20 years, though?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
Standard?
I don't recall off the top of my head like the other years, but yeah, that's
I was gonna
roughly
say,
that's
Curse-
roughly the right time.
I mean,
Curse
unless you're
spent,
like
2 years.
unless you're like Horace or Russ, who spent like
Well, to be you got like when one of your kids grows up and you're like you're a full grown adult, you're still wearing the emo bangs and stuff like that. You're gonna take some extra time to kind of guide them in the right direction, you know.
I mean, I
mean,
guess.
if you have a kid that's normal and then you have a
Yeah.
kid that's like,
Son,
which kid are
son,
you gonna
you're
hang out
30.
with, Lord?
Son, you're 35. Please stop shopping at Hot Topic. Go, please, son.
Please at least go to Spencer's. They have funny stuff there.
It was cool in 2006, not anymore. Please stop.
I
Corax, are
stopped
those-
going to, bro. I stopped going to Hot Topic the day I saw a fucking Justin Bieber shirt.
Corax, are those Jinkos?
No, Dad, it's not a phase. You wouldn't get it. Here's my big thing, and I'll plug this in now since we're on topic. GW has a very horrible track record of taking like kind of what each legion kind of like dips into a little bit as an aesthetic, and they make it way too prevalent. Like for example, Space Wolves and the entire wolf part of Space Wolves.
Yeah.
Where like
Yeah.
the entire 30k helmet debacle, where they published and it's like, oh, here's your 30k upgrades, and it's just the fucking wolf helmet. That's it. It's all wolf helmets.
It pissed me off so fucking
It pissed
bad.
everybody off. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's your wolf guys.
And it
wolf.
wasn't even
Ooh.
well done wolf
it
helmets.
And that's sort of like the same deal with Raven Guard,
Dude,
where
they were such.
except instead of with wolves, it was like with being very like the emo hairstyle and all that stuff. Like I get it, it's an easy thing to like transition into because it's like super pale skin, it's all
Yeah.
the dark colors, but
Here, I'll show you. Look. Where was it? It was right there.
yep,
Right
yeah,
there.
exactly, yep,
Right there.
yep.
The traditional standard 2024 lesbian haircut.
Yep, that was the artwork from the first like Raven Guard supplement for
Yes.
like 9th edition. Yeah.
Yes. Got shaved on the sides, and you have this like weird, like
The cyberpunk hairstyle.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like a side hawk.
It looks
Or
like
whatever it's
fucking what's her name, Judy.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's also like super fucking weird because like in a broad sense, you have different haircuts for different builds, okay? And you got some universal ones, but at the same time, you do not expect a slab of meat to be wearing what what a twink would usually wear as a hairstyle. That's not right. That's like seeing
Yeah.
no, just no.
Yeah.
I won't go to the next comparison I was gonna make, but yeah, it's
I
just
mean,
not. Yeah.
If you want a good representation, just pull up Green Day, pull up My Chemical Romance, and look at the hairstyles. Imagine an entire legion of guys with that hairstyle. Imagine a legion full of like 90s Arnold Schwarzenegger type dudes with that
Arnold
haircut.
Schwarzenegger, but with the
Yes.
The edit for this is gonna be astounding.
yes, thank you for putting in that work for me. I appreciate it.
Listen, it's not hard.
Like, listen, you know what would get my wallet open for anybody who's listening? GW, come on, is if they delved more into almost like the Spec Ops side of not like fucking Raven Guard.
You
Whatever
are
the fuck
really
they
on a
are.
curse
Wow.
kick, aren't you?
Well, listen, I'm struggling this episode, man. But it's
Bat
a case
bird,
of
same thing, different shapes.
yeah. But you go around and sorry, Raven Guard players, for misgendering your legion. I'm sorry. But going on. But going on because like, how cool is it to have like, oh, here's a legion, but they're the cool fucking sniper spec op guys, toss some fucking nods
Yeah.
on that type of. That'd be badass as fuck. Like I'm fucking down for that shit. But no, we get fucking brick house garage fucking butler. Like I don't know what else to go from that. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Absolute
honest,
Batman looking motherfucker.
we talk a lot of crap about the Raven Guard, but I actually do like the Raven Guard.
I do too. That's what hurts me because I would delve in if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, I think one of the most awesome interactions that I've seen was between them and the Night Lords, and it was
Was it just bird noises?
no,
Autistic screeching.
Kurz and the Night Lords were going through, and they're like butchering a whole fucking city or something like
Classic.
that. And they get into this like staircase or whatever, and in the staircase there's a door and it leads into a room, and that's where Corax is. So Kurz and Corax are both talking, whatever this and that, and Kurz is like, you know, I'll fuck you up, blah blah blah. So now let's do it here right now. All of a sudden, out of like the corner of his eye, he starts seeing like shit happening, and there are fucking Raven Guard piling in from every shadow in the stairwell, in the room. He's like, they've been there. Yeah. He's like, how did I not catch them? Like, they've been there the whole fucking time, and Kurz didn't even fucking notice them. And obviously Kurz backed down and everything
We
like
were
that.
born in the darkness. You only adopted it.
And that was
Quite
one of the-
literally Corax,
Unironic,
except for he's like the nerdy kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was where you were studying flaying. I was studying the sword.
That was one of the things that Kurz hated, absolutely hated it about. He didn't hate Corax, and he didn't hate them, like the Raven Guard. He hated the fact that they owned the shadows. While he used the shadows himself, they owned the fucking shadows.
Silly Kurz, while you were playing faces, I was mastering the art.
Exactly.
I'm just imagining like fucking like giant ass oval nerd glasses on him right now. Just...
That's all that's missing.
that is. Yeah,
that looks like
that's all. Yeah.
You put a pair
It
of
looks like a hipster.
Yeah, you put a pair of hipster glasses on that dude right there, and he looks like the guy who's enforcing the community
See,
standards.
we can make this 2 hours long. We can make it 2 hours long of Duncan on this picture.
Second worst photo in any of the supplements. The first one being fucking Torgaradon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Bro, it looks like emo Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres on steroids.
If Ellen transitioned, that's what it would look like right there.
Ellen hasn't transitioned? What?
Yeah.
So the Great Crusade happens. There's not really a whole lot. It's Raven Guard.
Raven Guard gets shafted with a lot of, and listen, I know we always try to cover the hot, like the big stuff.
It's the
and
Shattered Legions, man.
Yeah, it is the Shattered Legions, but I was like, honestly, more for the audience right now, because when it comes to any of the Legions, we try to cover like the big important stuff, right?
Right.
Because if we went through all the small stuff, it'd be like, it's too much. It's a lot of stuff. That's literally the entire universe with the lore.
It'd be like a certain monotone voiced fucking YouTube channel.
With the hairstyle?
No.
Not that one. The other one.
What's the other one?
The more flamboyant one.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking about
I'll take
fucking,
your word on this.
What is it? OMS?
Oh my god. Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, okay. We're not talking about OMS. We're not cursing our channel like that. Anyways.
I have no idea what's going on right now.
Talking
You don't
about
know-
monotone channels.
This is a pretty safe rib. We can sidetrack on this. You know One My Syndicate?
Sounds familiar.
There were a YouTube lore channel, but okay, let me go and replicate their entire YouTube lore thing. Okay, expand that a little bit.
Yeah, expand that a lot.
Like, let me, go. No, I just made the picture.
We call this a difficulty tweak.
Is that what you wanted?
Oh my
No, I
god,
need the
bro,
text,
it looks
not
like
the
it.
image.
Oh, you know what it looks like? Have you seen you guys remember what was it? Ghostbusters 2? The picture?
Nah.
The
He
picture
looks like Viggo Mortensen.
he looks
Or
like
no, I'm
Viggo.
sorry. Shit. What was it? Yeah, it was. No.
Oh, what was his
I'm trying
name?
to finish the bit.
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna look that one up.
okay.
You can finish the bit.
Multitask. Hey.
Oh, Vigo the
I can read
Carpathian.
Yes, Viggo. I knew it. Yeah.
Okay, I can read it there. So One My Syndicate, what they would do is they read that. I'm gonna start with Geneseed, and in the camera they would just be like, the degeneration. Too big. Man, we are struggling with this. They would just like look in the mic, and they would just say, The degeneration of the Raven Guard gene seed means several of the unique organs of the Space Marines are no longer work properly or no longer grow. Raven Guard do not have, and it's just like word for word. Okay.
It sounds
Quite
like the
literally
Mechanicum.
the entire Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
for the
like,
whole
hey,
video.
I get it's like, oh, you want to like take out this segment or like this like little quote, or you want to like read up on it just to make sure like, hey, that's cool. Like we do that stuff. That's fine. You want to make sure that what you're saying is true. You verify what you've already read, and maybe you learn something new in the wiki. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But you don't just look at the fucking wiki and read it off and then suddenly be like, we're lore YouTubers. No, you're a fucking audible light. That's what you are.
Like,
Yeah.
don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like, you will catch, like, there are certain parts where I just read off what I wrote off of the fucking wiki. But at the same time, we have a discussion about
It's
it.
a discussion. It's a discussion, and it's not just like, I always like to say our entire brand of lore thing is like the three guys talking to you in the back of the Warhammer store.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Exactly.
we're going over here, and if we want to pull something up, like, oh, look at this quote, all this stuff, and we talk about that stuff, but also we talk about this because we've read the books.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides from Flight of the Einstein,
Like, we
but we've
use the
read the
wiki
books
to look up
Yeah,
things
we've
like,
read certain books.
Okay, whenever it's like 99% of the books, at some point we gotta excuse the 1%. Okay,
Not when the 1% you fuck is like one of the like Chef's
okay.
Kiss
That's like-
top
yeah.
books.
I bought the book. It will be read. I can't guarantee when it'll be read.
Yeah, if there was
Maybe
one
after
book
Godric
that you
and Felix.
shouldn't never have skipped, it's
Why
Flight of
are
the
you?
Eisenstein.
Godric and Felix is so good though. It's so good.
I don't know if it's
know
better
what's-
than Flight of the Eisenstein.
Warhammer
Yeah.
Fantasy is pretty goated. It's goated.
Mm.
No, it is
You
goated. Lore is absolutely goated.
You say that until you say that until you hit
How many Warhammer Fantasy books have you read?
none.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know what?
Last time I checked, this isn't a Warhammer fantasy
It could,
podcast.
no, we're a Warhammer podcast. Technically, fantasy does fall under that.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
saying.
but we
point.
haven't reached that yet. We have
Yet.
bro.
Yet.
We're gonna be fucking dead by the time we even chip the surface of the fucking 40.
I can't wait until we're finally all in the retirement home and we're just like, no, we're finally done with the God regiments. We just ended there. But it's gonna be some shit like that.
you know what's funny is that we'll get to that point and they still will not have told us what happened to some of these Primarchs.
we're still waiting on Fulcrum to come back.
I mean,
we're
in all
still-
honesty, guard regiments will be easy. They'll be
That
a
will
lot.
be.
They will be a lot shorter episodes for the most part. There's obviously like the bigger ones are going to be a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
the
Anyways,
smaller ones we can
but
pack in.
Anyways,
No,
this side
anywho.
tangent brought to you by
Yeah.
Shithammer Podcast. Anyways,
Yeah.
not us, other guys.
But yeah, when it comes to the
We're
Great
cool guy
Crusade, there's really
podcast.
not much for the Raven Guard. At least not much that was discussed or even like told in the books.
I mean, they got more conquests and
Yeah.
more medallions and more honors than the Iron Warriors. So there
Yeah.
you go. Low bar, but still.
Most
Yeah.
of everything that picks up with the Raven Guard is after Isstvan.
Well, it's kind of at Isstvan.
Oh, at Isstvan is the most you're getting for sure. But then after that, you get a little
just-
bit more stuff than you did, pre-heresy.
Yeah. So
Let's go on this, man. Unless there's something before that.
we've covered so much.
Well,
of
we don't have to
this.
go into like the Raven Guard.
Well-
Okay, I'll cover it real
Yeah,
quick.
when it
Okay.
comes to Isstvan, like, sure, everyone knows what happened at Isstvan V. And that's pretty much where the Raven Guard are at.
And I
is
mean,
Isstvan V.
the only really cool thing that happened was well, at first it was Lorgar was Corax dunking on Lorgar for a little bit there, but then Corax, what was it? Kerr showed up. And,
Yeah, so Corax and Lorgar get into it. Corax is just mollywhopping the shit out of Lorgar like he ain't even a person.
him and them
Okay.
fucking lightning claws and that
He's just
fucking
fucking
jetpack.
his world up, and right when he's about to go in for the killing blow, Kurz comes out of nowhere and just starts beating the shit out of fucking Corax to the point where Corax had these like jetpack wings on his back.
They're pretty
and-
dope. No,
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
they were
Yeah.
dope. And Kurz managed to rip one of the fucking engines off of
Weren't
that
they
damn
like a
thing.
weapon that he used too? Like
They were
Yeah,
sharp,
oh yeah, they
yeah.
were like fucking
yeah, they were
sharp
like
blades.
razor sharp.
Yeah. And then
What
That's
what-
cool as fuck.
He's an extra little bitch. No, Dad.
Jesus Christ, he even has razor blades.
Do you
Look
think-
at that,
do you
he is emo.
Do you think Do you think? Oh my God.
he's a cutter.
Oh no. Oh, across the street.
Down the road for results.
Oh my God. Call 988 for suicide assistance. Anyways, moving on from that. I'm covering our asses. Don't worry. Man, we're getting nice with this.
Yeah.
But do you think the blades on the jetpack were like the little like the mall like chromatic knife set that for like $20, some shit like that they sell? Like ultimate ninja kit for $20, and it's like the chromatic, like all it's like the shit metal.
Yeah, there's a couple of steak knives and a bread knife.
Yeah, little kunais and the throwing daggers and all that. It's like, well, it's so cool. You hit fucking drywall shatters. Whoa, real Chinese steel, folded 1,000,000 times, not like the stupid Japanese steel shit.
Yeah, so after that happens, Corax is like, nah, I'm not fucking you. You're a fucking psycho. Bye. The Legion, he realizes that the whole Legion's pretty much decimated. They came in with 30,000, left with like 3,000.
Raven Guard lost over 75,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was more than
was it
30.
that more?
Yeah,
Okay. I knew
Raven
it was
Guard,
a shit ton.
Well, yeah, Raven Guard. No, Raven Guard was one of the ones that showed up in force for Isstvan.
Yeah.
Like,
I do know it was a fuck ton, and they lost. Because I remember him saying that
what was it? Legion strength was 100,000, right?
On average, yeah, on average.
So 25,000 left. 3/4 of your Legion just
go. Yep.
I thought it was less than that. I thought you had 3,000
I thought it was like
left.
3K or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was when they were evacuating, because in Deliverance Lost he recounts how
damn, I might have really fucked this up.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
that
when
happens.
they were retreating.
This is why I'm the new guy.
This is how you can tell we don't read from the wiki.
Yeah. So when they were retreating, they were being chased by the World Eaters, and the Raven Guard, they would fall back a certain amount of a certain distance and then attack the World Eaters. And then when the World Eaters got close enough, they would fall back and then keep doing that up until they got to this rendezvous point where one of the, was he a captain or?
So this is where we got to talk about this captain. So long story short, of course, Raven Guard, like every other Legion, spread out, right? And including, there's always that human detachment that specifically works for the Legion, not including like the Solar Auxilia or general like Militarum forces that are basically with the different Crusade fleets. But in one of the ships that the Raven Guard owned, I think it was a battle barge, if I'm not mistaken. He actually started receiving full-on prophecy because he was left basically at Deliverance. No, it's Deliverance somewhere else, but he was basically left behind while the rest of the Legion went to Isstvan, right? And at that point, he kept on getting basically just visions, and eventually could ignore it to the point where he abandons his orders to fly the ship to Isstvan because he knew if he didn't, Corax was dead. Yeah. So literally through that basically Deus Ex Machina, shadow, warpy, fucky wucky type stuff, he shows up as soon as like they're about to catch up with the Raven Guard and decimate like to extinction, right? Yeah. Like we're talking like full line, like.
Yeah, and the Raven Guard are holding. They can't run anymore. They hit a mountain and they're basically stuck on.
They
this
flew
mountain.
through the electric windmills. They're fucking dead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they get. Oh, so yeah, I looked it up and they got super fucked up, like 80,000 to 3K.
Yeah,
yes, that's what it was.
Yeah. So I was way the fuck. Well, I mean, not way the fuck. Off,
we all had zeros here and there, you know.
So they were left. They started with 80 grand.
Sometimes you're burning Madoff and you had a few zeros.
Less than 3K.
Less than 3,000 survived to make it onto that ship. I mean, you want to talk about shattered like that?
Probably the most shattered Legion.
Yes.
Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. They finally, I think they went back to Deliverance after that.
No. Well, I think they
did. He go straight back to Terra?
Diverges. This is where it diverges in terms of storyline and stuff like that. So Corax went with ship captain, all that fun stuff, and they all the way back, and they basically start to rebuild their Legion. We'll catch up with them in 1 second. You then have basically the majority of the other Legion that goes around, and they end up a lot of the times on. Along with the Salamanders that survived on Iron Hands vessels, right?
Yeah.
And that's whenever they go around and they basically fuck off. This is where the Shadow Legions kind of come into full play because whenever these legions broke, right? A lot of the times you had that little hodgepodge we talked before about the 3 different legions: Iron Hands, Salamanders, Raven Guard, and they would basically make ad hoc forces that would go around and harry the back lines of traitor forces as they advance towards Terra, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also one fucking Chad who decided, hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna raid fucking supply lines. We're just gonna go fucking assassinate a Primarch.
Oh god,
basically
this was
succeeds,
the
by the way.
best fucking scene ever.
And then they escaped. What the fuck? Okay. For context, that is the equivalent of some like fucking Call of Duty type shit. Where you crawl into a planet infested with not one but two legions, Emperor's Children and Iron Warriors. You crawl into the giant massive stadium where they're hosting a speech with a fucking sniper rifle, with also an Iron Warrior who is 100% probably not stealthy in any degree. And then
You mean
you're
an
like,
Iron Hand?
and you're, yeah, well, you know what I mean, Iron Hand, yeah. Definitely not Iron Warrior, but Iron Hand. And then he's like, no, I can do this. And then he fucking shoots Fulgrim in the goddamn face. And he was like, what was
Shoots
it like?
Fulgrim in the eye with a needle.
Fucking like, it was some insanely low distance, like 3 centimeters away from like actually killing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupidly insane.
Oh, so like what happened with Trump?
Yes, but even closer. Yes.
But even closer. Yeah.
Yes, but instead of the ear, it was like whoosh, straight into his eye.
Can we
and,
just
like,
can we just get like Fulgrim like at like as if he's at the Trump rally just holding the fist? Just like,
You're the editor. I mean, I could probably make
that's more of a drawing thing.
I can make the meme for you.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Instead of saying fight, Fulgrim's like, fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, because at this point, that's what they were doing. Yeah. They fell fast. But
Like, oh, they're fucking great.
then they do that. Obviously, as soon as that happens, this is a full main force, and they fucking escape. Which
That's
is fucking
insane.
stupid. They make it back to the ship. This is fucking stupid. Like, it's awesome. It makes sense.
Make it back to the ship and then just fuck off.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
See, you gotta admire that though. They didn't stick around to see, oh, is he actually dead or not? They're just like, nope, get the fuck
Yeah,
out.
no, they couldn't.
Go.
No, they cannot. No, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, no, not with Iron Warriors and Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
That's like the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like,
That's pretty fucking terrible.
yeah, I can't. I mean, other than getting caught by like Night Lords.
Yeah.
God, it took my force.
Is there a fate worse
Again.
than that?
Huh?
I said, is there a fate worse than that?
Diversity
Because
higher
this
doctor?
This isn't Emperor's Children. Like,
Have you gotten Angel Exterminatus yet?
no, I'm like a book or two
Oh,
away.
this
It's
is
good. It's good.
It's
Yeah.
one, it's good, but yeah, Emperor's Children are that bad.
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
Emperor's
So
Children dropped quick,
Okay.
like
yeah.
kinda-
literally in the book Fulgrim. Like the second
Well,
boom,
yeah.
it just
yeah.
whoosh,
To kinda,
Yeah, that's
to
true.
kinda
it
revisit-
snowballed from that point.
That's
to
true.
kind
They
of
did fall
revisit
real
because
quick.
it's been a second. I think this was mentioned in like our Iron Warrior episode, but that was so long ago. It's just the sheer difference is still always worth the mention. Where the entire fact that the Iron Warriors conquered this planet against the Imperial Fist must have been fake Imperial Fist. I don't fucking know. At that point, they win.
Of course, they were fake.
Yeah, because they lost. Imperial Fist don't lose. But real fact, don't trust me, bro. But they conquered it.
Iron Cage. God damn. Oh god.
Psyop.
Iron Cage was a
It's a
psyop.
psyop. It's an Alpha Legion misinformation campaign. Don't trust it. But that being said, it's the Alpha Legion bots, bro. They're all over Twitter. Shit.
Hand adorns used for hand jobs.
That was the pain glove, and that was one time. But at that point, like, they're going around like, oh, we're gonna meet with our noble brethren, the Emperor's Children, the most royal, luxurious, and like they're the most pristine, best of the Astartes, and they will join us on our conquest against the tyrant, the Emperor, for Horus, who will truly set us free. It was so like innocent the way they said that. It was just like, oh yes, we're truly fighting a noble and righteous cause. And then the Emperor's Children ships land. And the first thing they see is quite literally, by the way, like no hyperbole, quite literally, an avalanche of people just having an orgy and bloodletting and everything else coming out of the ships. And then the Astartes follow. And it's like, oh, I'm pretty sure that guy's joining in. Oh, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Oh, God.
Oh god, the Emperor's Children are hosting an Eyes Wide Shut party.
Yeah,
well,
yes.
yeah. I mean, it was some fucking like goddamn Serbian film type shit. Yeah.
It was like it was almost comical because you could almost like see that like this, you know, stoic Iron Warrior standing there watching this walk by and like literally just see the jaw just
Mhm.
what the fuck, like even Perturabo gets pissed.
Yes.
it pisses Perturabo off. He's
Oh.
like, "What the fuck is this?"
More than he generally is.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he joins a cause and he's like, "I thought we were fucking serious."
Yeah. It's almost like I'm assuming the best equivalency could be is like, oh, the like what's a big ally of the United States? Fucking Germany. I don't know. We'll fucking do Germany. At that point, the U.S. military is all dressed and proper,
I
and
mean, I
they're all
guess
like,
technically UK is our bigger one.
Yeah. Great Britain.
I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense. But imagine like the like American, like you have some military regiment or whatever the fuck, and they're like waiting at parade rest, like, okay, them all redcoats are coming over. Everybody like look your best, everything else you got to dress to impress. And the UK just like lands in a fucking helicopter, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be some dignitary, and they drop off the ship and they're fucking.
Queen
Like,
Elizabeth's
just flat out in the middle of like the field in front of an entire U.S. military regiment
You know
at
what that
parade
makes me
rest.
think of? You ever seen that episode
Yeah.
of you ever seen that episode of South Park where like the illegal aliens are coming back from like the future and shit and taking everybody's jobs and whatnot? And these guys are like, there's one way we can solve this. We just get in a big old pile and fuck each other. And it's like a bunch of grown ass dudes. It's like, boys, back in the pile.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. But no, that was
That was pretty much how it was. Yeah.
God, that's terrible.
It was such a good scene we're talking about in the fucking Raven Guard episode. Anyways, but at this point, Corax is going back, and he's got a big issue because, as we mentioned before, that motherfucker went from like, what was it again, like 80, 90,000 like
80,
soldiers
80K to 3K.
down to base, probably under 3K. Yeah. At that
Well,
point,
yeah, less than 3K. 3K is just the
Yeah.
average.
reminder, Horus Heresy was basically 9 versus 9. Oh, look, now it's 9 versus 6. That's kind of a fucked up place to be, man. No lie. Yeah. And not to mention, technically at that point, you didn't know where the Y scars played. So perhaps it was like 10 versus 5. Like, holy shit. Like, you're fucked. Even if you got the Imperial Fist, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
But at that point, he has to go back and he's like, there's only one way to stop this. I have to rebuild the Legion, right? We got to like somehow make, we somehow have to make like 87,000 recruits like yesterday, get this done with, everything else.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So the way always the progenoid works, that basically you get a plan with the progenoid, and over time, the Astartes body will naturally develop that second progenoid, right? So that way, like whenever they reach quote unquote maturity, you can actually go back into the Astartes and harvest that second progenoid, right? And then they can continue being a battle brother. That first progenoid does not get harvested until that battle brother dies,
Right.
because they need the progenoid to basically live, essentially. So that being said, you basically have to grow plants inside your soldiers, and you got to wait for that to mature. Then you have to wait for that to mature. So instead of
The big thing about Isstvan is didn't get the progenoid glands.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's also why like at all times Astartes are so absolutely concerned about progenoids, because like you can very quickly lose numbers and not be able to replenish them if you do not get that progenoid.
Right.
If they die, you can't harvest it. You're fucked. Just instantly fucked.
Yeah. That's why apothecaries are so clutch.
Yep.
But what's it called? Yeah. So he makes it back to Terra.
Talks to
And-
Dorn.
Yeah. He talks to Dorn and immediately is like, "Where's Dad? I need to talk to Dad. Get Dad's ass right here now."
Dad's busy.
He's fucking he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go look for Dad." Dorn's like, "No, don't do that. I need to talk to Dad."
yeah,
That's
there's
double
an
packing
Malcador
Zins.
steps
With
in.
the shades, like,
Malcador's
okay,
like, "Hey,
motherfucker, listen up. What
what
are you
do
gonna
you
do about this?
He's like, "Where's Dad?" He's like, "Well, your father's busy right now. What do you need?" It's like, "I need to talk to him now. Like now, not
Hold up, bitch! I'm buzzing off
Yeah.
the Zins right now.
yeah." And nothing that Malcador can like say to him is gonna appease him. He's like, "No, I need to see that." He's like, "Your dad's working on some very important shit right now. What do you need?" And goes like that for a bit. All of a sudden,
You don't understand. He's making the cosmic Zin.
The ones in to rule them all.
then all of a sudden, Malcador,
20 milligram.
The one's in to
Goddamn.
find them.
the 20 milligrams in.
You ever seen like the black market, like 90 milligrams?
No.
There's
I
90
won't-
milligram Zims.
It was some. It was some like it may not have been like specifically 90, but it was like
You'll see,
insanely.
that's-
Somebody like double decked them and then like recorded.
And then died.
No, but he was vomiting profusely in a bucket.
Dude, 90 milligrams is more than this what's in this vape right here. I think the max this is like 50.
Based.
That's That's gross.
That's fucking great.
Bro, do you know how
Fucking
much you'd be
meatball.
fucking zooming off of one of them things?
Listen, drugs are illegal, but I'll get close.
According to my Lord and Savior Tucker Carlson, nicotine increases testosterone.
Well, if that's the case, we should be raging out right now, shouldn't we?
Well, to be fair, I mean, if you want to look at it like the populace that routinely smoke cigarettes and dip and chew versus the population that either gets artificial stuff or rarely uses it, I'm just you can see a difference. That's all I'm saying.
fair.
You can see a difference. Usually, you can see a difference. Rule of thumb. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyways,
so
back to that after our
Yeah.
fourth tangent. Yeah.
After our fourth tangent. So, finally, he talked to finally the Emperor showed up, didn't he? Well, no,
the Emperor manifested himself through Malkador,
as he
and-
does.
as he does,
Mm.
and
Seems like his go-to trick.
yeah.
He just gets, oh, could you,
Well,
I wonder if that's
Malkador,
weird.
mind if I slip my hand up your ass real quick? No.
I wonder if that's weird. Does he have consent?
Probably. I think they've been bros.
As the sigilite, you
I'm sorry. If you are the Emperor, you don't need consent.
Excuse me, Malkador. I must sock puppet you. No, please don't. Oh.
So yeah,
I
he's
felt a
talking.
node in your asshole. You might want to get that checked out.
So he
Cancer
finally
of serious concern, Malkador, please.
Malkador,
he
are
finally
you
shows
aware
up.
of this lump?
he So he finally shows up
Malkador.
through Malkador.
WebMD says you're terminal. Malkador, quick. Zin won't pulls out of this one, buddy.
Oh dear lord. But
Get the healing crystals, Malkador. Emperor's been around so long. I mean, he probably's done some like, what was the Eastern Mystic called? Holistic practices, or was it?
yeah.
Yeah, like so you imagine like him trying to like do the full like, Malkador, you have cancer. Good thing I sold my essential oils from 28,000 years ago. Try this, Malkador.
Malkador, are you aware that Mercury is in retrograde right now?
Malkador.
No wonder your cancer is overtaking your body.
Malkador, if you sell essential oils too, we can fuel the. We can have enough funds to run the Imperium forever. It's multi-level marketing, Malkador.
Malkador, stop being a Sagittarius and listen to me now.
That sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. No, it's multi-level marketing.
marketing.
It's not. It's different, as
see.
Russ says.
Anyways, as we were saying,
So yeah, Big E comes through Malkador and starts talking to Corax.
Comes in Malkador.
shut the fuck up. Continue.
He-
We draw the line of pathology
Yeah.
exams, please. This is a professional
So-
setting. Stop being the Emperor's children,
He didn't
please.
come in and he came through him.
Oh god.
Once again,
this
suicide
episode
help
has
is available at 988. Continue.
This episode has derailed.
I have a bit for this later.
What do you mean? That's concerning me after I just said the suicide hotline.
We'll finish it off.
Okay.
Right, so like a dad who's hearing the kids argue downstairs and gets tired of listening to it after a while, fucking Biggie shows up. He's like, what do you want? What the fuck do you want? And he gives him the whole spiel and everything. The Emperor's like, all right, check this out. I'm going to give you the location of my laboratory when I first started making you little fuckers, and you can go there and get what you need done ASAP. You can get your whole legion replenished real freaking quick. It's like, all right, cool. Where is it? It's on the moon. He didn't tell him straight off that it was on the moon, right? He told him it was like in a fucking. For some reason, he had to be cryptic about it or some shit.
Everything's scripted with the Emperor. But yeah,
Yeah.
long story short, it was on the moon. He found it. He talked to Dorn. Dorn said, hey, stay here, buddy. I have a wall and I need people on the wall. He's like, that's a you thing. That's not a me thing. Fuck
Whole
off."
time,
Yeah.
big surprise. There was an Alpha Legionnaire on board that was disguised as a Raven Guard.
So
following the whole
actually,
time.
there were
Yeah.
several.
Yeah.
Of course, you're that. Anywho, that's next episode.
Well, no, it because in Deliverance Lost, like the Raven Guard were infiltrated by the Alpha Legion from Isstvan V. the Alpha Legion on Isstvan V took the faces of some of the dead Raven Guard, put it on them, and actually exfilled with them.
It's like the D&D story all over again.
Man, I can't believe they turned traitor. Who could have seen this guy?
So yeah, some of them actually went back to, actually quite a few of them went back to Deliverance, and some of them went with Corax, one of them being Alfarius. And they make it to the moon.
Hefty.
One of them being Alfarius.
It's either Alfarius or somebody who took Alfarius's blood and then kind of became Alfarius.
Okay,
it's a whole fucking
okay.
thing. We'll get into it.
That's next episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that next episode.
It was an operative.
Yeah,
it was an operative.
It was a psyop.
Yeah, it was.
It was all a psyop.
This is all a psyop.
Raven Guard aren't real. They can't hurt you.
Oh, do you want to tell the listeners what the secret code was to get into the moon base?
Oh my, yes, I love this. So, what basically happened is they found the entrance. They had no idea how to get in or anything else. They're like, oh, is it here? Is it not here? And then finally, Corax walks up and he does, I think what's it called, like 2 shaves and a haircut.
Yeah. Shave and a haircut.
Shave and a haircut.
Shave and haircut.
Yeah,
2 bits.
which is basically, once again, it's the. I gotta put my mic for this 1 second. It was just the. That was the secret code. That was the secret code, like the ultimate. By the way, top secret type of shit. Like, this had material where you could quite literally unmake the Astartes.
Fabius Biles' wet dream.
Yes.
Like, this was super. This is like hiding the nuclear codes behind a fucking just knock.
Yeah.
Which on one hand is like kind of ingenious because of the simplicity. Nobody would ever fucking expect that. But
Yeah, you gotta think it was what, fucking 40 millennia before that?
Yeah.
30.
But also, it feels like that kind of confirms that shave and a haircut did not make it to M30, unfortunately. So very rest in peace.
Yeah.
Great knock.
So yeah, that was the secret code to get in was, and it's funny because if you listen to the book on Audible, you don't catch it at first. Because I didn't catch it at first, and I was like, wait a minute, and I rewound that one spot, and it was like knock, 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 knock. And I was like, motherfucker.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no shit. That's pretty dope. It was ironic that he would use something like that, but then again, it being, like you said, so fucking old.
I do love the idea of the Emperor just like, because it's so old and nobody knows of it anymore.
Yeah.
He just uses that as like his security. So it's like,
His password
behold,
is password.
you must choose.
Yeah, exactly.
You must choose from these arcane glyphs which one is the secret glyph to allow you access, and one of them's just fucking Pepe. And some shit like that, yeah.
Yeah. So they finally make it into the lunar base, whatever, and it's not so easy. The Emperor basically has to kind of guide him through the base because there are a bunch of traps that need, and at the time, this was after the Council of Nicaea, so psychics weren't a thing, but there was one psychic dude in the entire bit of Legion
in
that
the
was
group.
with them.
And it was one psyker that was in the group, and they needed him.
Yeah, but nobody knew he was a psyker, because had they known he was a psyker, he would have been, arrested and treated like all the other psykers in the Legion. So he kept it quiet. When it came to the part with where the psyker was actually needed, the guy kind of played it off as like, I wonder if I try this, and ta-da, it works and stuff. But throughout the whole thing, the Emperor basically had to he had to give Corax hints or like guide him in a way to solve all the puzzles and stuff.
He had to have the tutorial on.
Yeah. He basically needed the quick tips on that one.
Had to watch the YouTube video before he jumped into Dark Souls.
Yeah. So after all the traps and everything is done, they finally find the lab. This is the lab where it all started.
And they unlock it. It's just a bottle of Tren. That's all it is. That's the secret juice.
It's just a Red Bull in there.
Angron just had that roid rage. That's all it was.
So yeah, they find it. They find the lab. They access the computers, and this is where Corax goes into autistic mode, and now he's trying to find. I can't remember if it was he was looking at everything. He was looking at. Oh, that's what it was. He was looking at essentially all the Geneseed that was encoded into the computer and stuff.
Yeah,
And
he
he
found
saw
the cum
that-
jar room. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
and he saw that the Emperor kind of experimented with different animals in the Geneseed, and explains Russ. It kind of explained Kurz. Kind of explained most of the animal type Primarchs. And he finally found what he was looking for in there. He had to go through some more rigmarole.
Do you
some
think
shit and
Angron had an animal?
Angron was the animal.
It's a honey badger.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say Angron's animals. It's a rabid badger.
It's
Yeah.
a honey badger. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very apt animal for him. But he finds what he's looking for. He gets the information. He's like, all right, cool. No one here say shit to anyone about what we found here. Okay, at all. Nobody at all.
The best thing is, like, he turns around and, like, says that he's talking to like that one squad, and then that squad's the Alpha Legionnaire, and he's like, okay, guys, this is top secret. Please don't share this.
Yeah,
And
don't-
he's just in there, like,
Absolutely, and he's got like his hand behind his back with his finger crossed.
Yeah,
Won't
exactly,
tell nobody.
It's even more like not subtle than that. He's just always like, yeah, listen to that. No one say anything about what we saw here today.
He has to
okay?
reiterate it, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who's got to repeat it. So they find what they're looking for, and they leave. They go back to Deliverance, and that's where they start.
Mass producing fucking.
Yeah, there's like a secret complex like far from the Ravenspire or whatever, and this is where they're doing everything. Nobody on Deliverance knows except for the people who were there when the information and everything was gone. All right. It's like a secret underground fucking lair that they're doing all these experiments, and they start, like you said, they start mass producing fucking guys. All right. And I'm talking about like these guys. There was one guy in particular who was a kid, and he went through the surgery, and he was basically a full grown fucking Astartes by like the next day. Like it was some kind of fast track program or whatever. And not only was he a full grown Astartes, but these were called the Raptor Marines. They actually pitted them against seasoned veterans of the Raven Guard. And these veterans were getting their asses
Handed to
fucking
them.
whooped. One of them actually happened to be, and they keep referring to him as Alfarius, so I'm just going to call him Alfarius. But one of the seasoned veterans was Alfarius. And he was actually getting fucked up by this thing. Which leads me to believe that it wasn't actually Alfarius. It was a normal Legionnaire with Alfarius' like memories and shit.
Yeah.
But this dude was getting fucked up by this brand new poot butt fucking pogue ass fresh recruit.
I don't know. Alfarius did get fucked up by Rogodorn, and Rogodorn's not a very.
You take that back.
Yeah,
You
but
take that back, you furry fuck.
Name me a one-on-one fight that he won.
Green skin looking motherfucker.
Groot does have a
Yeah.
point on that one.
Yeah, so
Calls it as a
he's
season.
orc brain. Don't worry about it.
Fought Kurz.
Yeah, it
lost.
doesn't matter. Hey, killing Alfarius is
Won't
based
fight
in
Angron.
build. Yeah.
Wouldn't fight Angron. Fought,
Who the fuck would?
fought.
Who would?
Who was it? Fought.
No,
fought-
okay, here's the deal. Because nobody in their right mind would ever choose to fight
Fought
Angron.
Fulgrim. Got
Russ?
saved by Sigismund.
Nobody would.
Russ.
No. Russ, I said right mind. I said right mind.
Fought Fulgrim. Needed Sigismund
If
to
you
save,
went around
jump
and said
in and
like,
save him.
if you're like, Russ, that stone wall assaulted me, Russ would go over and fight the stone wall. That's what he would do. He's Russ.
Probably, yeah, absolutely, and he would win.
Yeah.
But
He didn't win against
I like how you
Angron.
said that, like the sense of achievement. Yeah, he would win.
He
And he
didn't
would
win.
win.
He didn't win
against
against
the
Angron though.
huh?
He did not win against Angron.
He didn't win, but he won.
You know who did win against Angron? Sanguinius.
I mean,
Rest in peace.
uh,
Hollow be his name.
Know who he didn't win against? Horus.
it's like rock paper scissors.
But yeah, so obviously is like at this point, Alpha Legions were like, oh shit, this ain't good. So they pull a little Bill Cosby and spill something in the drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, this is fucked up. Hey, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna do some stuff here.
What if I give them what the Thousand Suns have?
Ooh,
Yeah.
magic space crack provided by Space Reagan. Ooh.
Well, it was. It wasn't actually. It wasn't actually Thousand Sun juice, but
No,
It was fuck you up juice.
It
Yeah.
was. I wouldn't even say it was worse. I'd probably say it's on the same level because,
pretty much a flesh change.
yeah, it they fucked with the genome code. Actually, what happened was Omegon was on Kievar, if I'm not mistaken, or Lycaeus, and he
I
worked
thought it
with
was
the
Alpharius.
and he got fucking the nobles that were there um wanted nobles on the planet wanted Lycaeus, that's what it was, to go back to the way it was, where they basically ruled everything and whatnot. So they worked with the Alpha Legion and Omegon to develop this, like, not only to sabotage the manufacturing there of the armor and stuff like that, but they also managed to get this like virus, and they passed it off to the guys over on Deliverance. Guys in Deliverance, Alpha Legion fuckery, made their way into the main chamber where the Geneseed and everything was, and they uploaded this virus to it. And what the virus did was it caused a really animal-like mutation in the gene that would not be detected by anything on the surface. If you looked at it, and even if you did some, mid-level like digging into it, you would just think, oh, it was just a genetic flaw, like a flaw in the actual gene seed itself, nothing outside of it. Only through like a heavy scan and deep internal digging would you find out that gene seed was fucked with. So they did that, mission accomplished, whatever. The new sets of recruits that were coming through, getting the gene seed implanted into them, all of a sudden started mutating. Like, they would be normal, and then all of a sudden they just started mutating into these horrible, grotesque beasts type of dudes. They were still loyal, they were still like normal, but they were fucking monsters, basically.
Galvorback.
Yeah, essentially the Galvorback.
Just birds.
Well, some were birds, another one was like a fucking, like a wolf type creature or whatever, like just a fucking grotesque monster.
They pretty much they pretty much just like revamped the fucking animal gene like tenfold.
Yeah, basically. And this caused a whole like uproar, like what the fuck is going on? Holy shit. So all these animal hybrid creature things were all penned up in a lab and shit. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with them. A lot of them were being feral, some of them were actually, coherent. And after, I'm trying to think, God, this was quite a bit ago. So after that, they proceed to go ahead and sabotage more shit around there. They finally, the Alpha Legionnaires finally get caught, and they all kill each other. They kill themselves off, so they're not, interrogated or anything like that. But the damage had already been done. Corax, upon looking on it, they were like, "Oh, we don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on with this Geneseed thing." They were like, "Oh, maybe it's just a flaw that we didn't see in the Geneseed, blah, 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 this and that." Never caught on to that somebody fucked with it. And that pretty much stopped their entire production line. They only got like...
It ceased everything.
Yeah, it ceased everything. They only got that first... Because they were only taking 100 recruits a day. So they only got like maybe a couple thousand, if that they were able to make and shit.
And that couple thousand's fucking completely tainted.
Well, the first couple thousand were fine.
Or the first
that.
ones were good, and then they start coming out tainted, and you're fucking like, well, shit.
Yeah. So they took those recruits that they had. They were like, look, we don't have time to train them in the way that we train the rest of our legion. We're gonna have to go ahead and train them. They're gonna have to get their training in real life scenarios.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to get field trained.
Right. So their first mission was to a moon that was inhabited by the word bearers. I forget what the moon that was. I don't know if you have it written down.
I have no idea.
No. So that was their first actual training mission, was the moon. They were to go to take over this base that was on the moon that was being held by the word bearers. And they go in there and they like
exemplary.
Like they were Space Marines but on a completely different level than the Space Marines.
They were taking out word bearers like it was fucking nothing.
Yeah, like one of these guys was worth 2 regular Space Marines. Like it was insane.
I mean, probably even more.
And I mean, their first mission was a resounding success. Like they took over that base like it was nothing. It took them maybe like 2 or 3 days to take over this entire freaking base full of word bearers. And they were just murdering them like it was nothing. And those guys, because they weren't sure if that set was going to be tainted like all the other ones and stuff, what they did was they turned them into their own special unit called the Raptors. And that unit was basically used as your shock troopers and stuff.
Right.
While they worked on trying to figure out not only what happened with the other guys, but how they're going to go ahead and start replenishing their stock of Marines. And oh, look, you're back.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going off we just got done with showing how, or telling them how the Raptor Marines, their first mission was their first training mission as well. On the moon with the word bearers. And I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
I mean, it pretty much kind of boiled down to a case of like, we made the comparison before when we were talking before the podcast, saying like, yeah, they were stronger in a lot of ways, but at the same time, they were still right. So it's almost like,
I mean, they were still kind of kids, basically.
Essentially, yeah, but also physically as well as like mental development, everything else. Is at a point where like they could be used, but with how Corax used them, I would not be surprised if he was like secretly hoping that they died in combat.
Man, they were definitely looked at as pariahs, basically, from the rest of them, because all the other ones, I mean, they're battle hardened. They've been doing this for they're like the firstborn, and these guys come in, they're twice as good as any of them are.
Well, they're twice as good, but at the same time, like their creation was due to like rampant mutation, and also it made for like good shock troops, almost as if like you're in 40K and you have a Chaos Space Marine warband that sends in the Chaos spawns before like the actual Astartes. Chaos Spawn by itself can be stronger than a Space Marine, right? Just like pound for pound, stuff like that. You can do good, but at the same time, like you're not going to get the flexibility out of like an actual Marine as you will with them. Specifically also because like even we're still talking about Imperium as well as whenever Astartes Legion specifically, where if you had any defects, that was a bad fucking thing, right? That's the reason why Blood Angels kept their stuff secret. That's why, well, obviously M40 Dark Angels kept their little schism secrets, stuff like that. The point is, none of the legions wanted stains. And this all boils back to, odds are at least one out of the 2 legions, 2nd or 11th, was kaboomed because their legion was genetically fucked up. So that being said, even if they was like no downsides, the entire fact that they were basically mutated monstrosities, they wouldn't be allowed. Not at all.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of boils down to that and nothing else.
Corax is utterly devastated by this, and he finally decides that taking the shortcut wasn't the best route, that if we're going to do this, we're going to do this the way it needs to be done, slowly and surely, the right way. We want everything to be perfect. However, but he also, realizes that I can still be useful, and so we'll still do what we can, and he kind of fucks off and helps out doing that, cutting like supply lines, attacking fleets and stuff,
small scale operations,
kind
of help out the cause.
There's a little tidbit in, I think it's the book after Wolfsbane, Slaves to Darkness, maybe. There's a tidbit in one of the books. There's a tidbit in one of the books after the Russ versus Horus fight. Horus, the Space Wolves actually somehow or another meet up with Russ. And Russ actually fucking, like, Corax rushes to Russ and fucking, after Russ is, fucked up after the fight, and tells, he tells Corax that, Horus is a monster. Horus is, like nothing I've ever fought. It's just like a little tidbit snippet, and then it goes on to some, the book, and it's completely fucking I want to say it might be Wolfsbane. It's at like the very beginning of Wolfsbane, and you're like, oh shit, this isn't gonna end well. Or at the end. Yeah, I can't remember. Either way. But so that's pretty much it after that. Until like the Siege of Terra, but even at the end of the Siege of Terra, Corax doesn't even, the Raven Guard don't make a real appearance. There's, you know, obviously some Raven Guard probably on Terra, just like all the other legions, but they're not really mentioned.
Yeah.
And then I guess they, you know, obviously we don't know what happens after Siege of Terra.
Yeah, because after that, they're pretty much, there's nothing on the Raven Guard. They're just,
what is, oh, we're after Siege of Terra. They show up. Second founding, Codex Astartes happens. Corax, obviously, Corax 100% agrees that we need to split the chapters, which, I mean, you only got like maybe 5,000 guys.
yeah, he ain't got much of
Which is
anything
weird
left.
because they have a lot of chapters.
A lot of successor chapters.
They
Yeah,
have a
I've
lot
seen
of
that.
successor chapters, but we'll get to that towards the end, which we're getting close to. There is one thing. Corax did personally give the Emperor's Peace to every surviving accelerated Marine.
What is the Emperor's Peace?
Pew.
Remember how at Siege of Terra we were basically talking about how like the Custodes went fucking like super crazy, and he basically like mind fucked them.
Yeah.
It was basically the Emperor granted him that basically
Okay.
basically the chance to die. This put him in a big fuck off depression. And he locks himself in his personal chambers on Ravenspire. I want to say he's in there for like, he locks himself for like 2 months or a couple years or something like that. It's
an extended duration.
Yeah, it's his emo period. He's in there. Fucking Hawthorne Heights is playing at full volume outside of his door. You know, I can't make it on my own.
Bro thinks he's special. We all went through COVID.
Yeah, we all went through everything. Gosh. But
Essence is playing in the background too.
finally he chads up and he fucking kicks the door open and he's like, you know what? Fuck this, I'm done. And he
Time for my new career as a musician.
I'm gonna be a rock star, Dad.
It's time to get the band back together.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the front man for Green Day. Let's go.
Oh no. It's like, no. And the only way to save this Imperium is by putting on the best damn talent show the Imperium's ever seen.
And so he goes, in perfect Corax fashion, he goes, well, I'm too weak to deal. I'm not important enough like Rabute Gilliman to, you know, deal with the main thread. I'm not, I'm not the poster boy, and I'm not Russ, so I'm not cool enough to go, just jump in the warp and go look for a tree of life or whatever the fuck that is. He was like, I'm kind of one of the weak loyal Primarchs. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go harass Lorgar.
He's gonna be petty as fuck about it.
I was like, he pretty much holds Lorgar responsible, at least as like responsible to the guy he could get to. For
is he wrong though?
No, he's not. I don't know. He's not.
Hell no.
So he boards a ship and he jumps into the Eye of Terror, leaving his legions with the last words, nevermore.
Quoth the Raven.
So
Call.
into 40K, there are rumors in lore that Lorgar is currently being harassed by.
If I'm not mistaken, that was like a full on like short story.
Was it a short story? It was like a whole. It was like a snippet where like fucked up like a weird Corax.
Yes. So so in one of the planets inside basically the Eye of Terror, that basically Lorgar and co were fucking residing in. Everything else refer to last episode. And then suddenly you just see like this random word bearer who's basically desperately running, trying to get back to basically this citadel. And at the same time, it's being chased by what appears to be almost like a murder of crows as they're proceeding to swoop in on him as he's basically chased back inside. Goddamn. As he chased back inside like this little fortress monastery the word bearers have.
Yeah.
And finally, it's basically revealed that that's fucking Corvus. And so one of the big things that we've previously discussed before in this episode, as well as the other ones, the Primarchs kind of have like semi-supernatural abilities. Because we do know for a fact the Primarchs are partially made up of basically the warp, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the secret ingredient in their creation, as well as rumored, hypothetically, a lot of the Astartes have kind of the warp with them, right? At least to some like minor degree. Corax kind of embraced, I guess we say, his warp side, so to say. And therefore, he's been hounding fucking Lorgar for the past God knows how many years, if it's even relevant considering warp time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's apparently what he's been doing. Now, the actual semantics of that, because I know, and this is just speculation entering that territory, people say like, oh, maybe what happened at the Ravenspire isn't like really what happened, and he's still locked in the Ravenspire, and it's only his soul that was doing that, or some like weird jank shit.
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
doing like some kind of astral projection through the warp.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't know. I've seen like the fan pictures of
They're
like
dope.
Chaos Corax, and I'm not gonna lie, like certain Primarchs, especially like think about it, like certain ones that have been in like, because we kind of see it a little bit now, especially in 40k era Indomitus. We see that, you know, Gilliman is now working with Yvrain and the Eldari.
Yeah.
I would think almost safe to say that maybe to a degree Jagatai comes back with some kind of Eldar technology from the Webway, and we start seeing the Imperium start incorporate at least Xenos allies.
That's actually kind of true, because now granted this lore mainly comes from basically the Arcs of Omen books, specifically the one with Angron, but what's kind of noted is that due to the threat of what the Black Crusade presented and what's going on, the Imperium have essentially all but officially allied with the Eldar when it comes to basically combating this issue, right?
Right.
So the point where like you actually have full-on craft worlds working with the Imperium to solve this. Now, a stray gun shot to the back may happen time to time. That's how it fucking goes. But end of the day, the Eldar are a lot more willing to work with the Imperium, because they're both saying, oh, we're both kind of fucked if we don't like pull our resources and kind of fuck this over.
I don't like chaos. You don't like chaos. You guys kind of fucking springboarded this shit.
Yeah.
We tried to warn you against it, you know, and now your dad's on a fucking, your dad's in a fucking hover round.
Exactly. And it's very important to note that whenever we say working together, it's just that. Working together. Yeah. Allies is too strong of a word. Is very much a case of, hey, perhaps we have the same enemy, and we're just going to kill the enemy before we kill each other, right? We're not saying they're all buddy, anything else like that, but it's just a case of like, they just have the same enemy.
But I like to think, because we have, I think, what, two loyalist Primarchs that are currently, quote unquote, in the Eye of Terror, in the warp, fucking Russ and Corax. Honestly, a slightly warp touched Russ and Corax
that would be cool.
Mm. Like a Russ where the Canis Lupus kind of takes over, and he's almost more feral and
if they do it right, because for example, if Russ comes back and he's just a fucking giant wolf, that's going to be gay.
I don't want werewolf Russ.
Yeah,
I want think of like almost like Sabretooth. How they did X1 Sabretooth, you know, make him more, you know, give him a little bit more of like the feral hair, sharpen,
so
give
more like Wolfen, but not anything beyond Wolfen.
I would say less like a good mix, a good in between of Wolfen and Russ. Because to me, Wolfen looked goofy.
That's fair, but also that could just be kind of the models too.
It probably is.
Yeah, because just thinking about it, because the Wolfen was like basically veterans from the Great Crusade who, after Prospero, went into the warp and they got rediscovered, you know, right? So, as roughly the time frame, Russ has also been in the warp. So, yeah. So it's a possibility, and I would say that it has higher odds than most other options. But same deal for Corvus. You know, you like, I want a cool shadowy fucking not demon half bird shadow guy, but I don't want him to be fucking
Or
Hot
I don't
Topic.
know,
Yeah.
or I don't know, incorporate the whole shadow thing where it's like Corax, but it's almost kind of like a Venom thing with like the fucking with the
Yes,
crow.
see, that would be
that
cool
would
as
be
fuck.
dope. But
Yeah,
it's
that
like
would be-
nothing but fucking pure. It's just pure black,
Mm-hmm.
almost like his fucking, almost like his shadows animated now.
You know what would be cool? What would be really fucking cool is if they did the Corax model, but they somehow, I don't know how they got this, but if they somehow did this to where like, but his shadow was that of a raven. I think that would be cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know how they incorporate that into like a model. Maybe they have like an impression of a raven that you film like no oil or painted or some shit like that. But I think that would be kind of a cool thing. Or some shit like a raven with like the wings like ready to attack,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Or
but
like
some-
he
some
has,
cool shit.
or like I don't know. They could probably do it where like he has like the jetpack, but on like the back of the jetpack, say like the jetpack has like shadow wings, fucking spread behind it or
Or like
something.
the jetpack has molded. The jetpack and the wings have molded onto him and shit, and the wings almost take like almost like an actual feathery look.
Like actual, yeah, that oh, that would look cool.
That would be dope as fuck.
But so after that he fucked off, and currently Shrike, Caven Shrike is the Shadow Master, I think is
The-
what he's called.
The chapter.
Oh, Master of Shadows, my bad. He's the chapter master. And currently he has split he has split all of Raven Guard forces. He has split them evenly into both segmentums, and is currently performing covert operations in both segmentums. So the Raven Guard are doing what they do best in both, what is it, Imperium Nihilus and Imperium
Sanctum, yeah.
Sanctum.
Now we'll say in the more like M40 time frame, one of the more notable stuff they've been is mainly been in conflicts with the Tau. That's kind of like their time to shine, so to say. Like around, like,
Snipers versus snipers.
yeah, kind of snipers for snipers. It's almost like the Damocles Crusade they were obviously involved with. I believe this is like the second portion. But long story short is that was kind of their entire thing. It was kind of like fighting against the fucking Tau. Now, again, same thing for everything else. They've had conflicts, right? So yes, in some obscure lore passage or this minor battle, they face Dorks, they face Tyrannus, they face, everybody's faced fucking everything. That's the entire thing. But the major thing, at least to my opinion, is going to be against the Tau. Because that's one of the biggest shit that they fucking did. Was, and I specifically remember, I believe it was some art piece with the Raven Guard fighting the Tau, and it was, oh god, it was so badass. But yeah. Damocles Crusade.
You'll have to
Let's
look
go
that
for another one, boys. Wipe out the fucking commie cocksuckers. Man, glad I don't play Tau. Oh, shit, man,
Blue
that'd be
commie
terrifying.
bastards.
I can't believe you disappointed me like that.
Hey, listen, I'm running out of armies.
Listen, he's in his curious phase right now.
Shut
So
the
it is.
fuck up.
He's a little Tau curious right now.
Always.
Tau curious.
Listen, everyone needs
Wow,
at least
okay.
one faction from each.
That
well,
they're embarrassed about.
Yeah, it's like fucking a fat chick, you know. Or like riding a Vespa. It's like it's really fun as long as your friends don't find out. You know.
Too bad for you. Your friends are the only ones you play 40K with.
Oh fuck. You go around to the game store and then you're like, "Hey, here's my armies. This stuff." Like you can fully nerd out, but then when it comes to the Tau, you just like push it to the back. They don't see anything. It's not there. Got the fucking Tau Gundams calling to you like the fucking Green Goblin mask. Yeah.
Coward.
Coward. The galaxy is rightfully ours. Pick up the rail rifle. Do it. Strength 5 base weapons.
Become a waifu.
You know what you need to do.
Heavy rail rifle.
Stop.
No, heavy rail waifu. Yes.
Oh Lord.
Grab the storm surge. Do it.
Get
No,
in the
I
storm
don't
surge,
want.
Shinji.
I don't want to.
Do it, or I'll make the ethereal do it. Not the ethereal.
Everybody sees that Commander Shadow Sun. No, they don't.
No.
Just go ahead and grab another one. Grab the crisis suits too.
Speaking about stigmas people have with players, why are the Tau fans so goddamn horny? Because that's all that fucking is. Just like everyone's like, I play Tau, and then I play Tau. There's like, fucking Tau waifu. Oh, look at all these. Like,
That's
no,
why I
shut the
refuse to
fuck
play
up.
Tau. I can't do it.
Like,
I can only break so many stigmas. I like breaking the furry.
Danny broke the stigma for me.
I like
He broke
breaking
the stigma.
I like breaking the furry stigma of Space Wolves. There are only so many, and I like breaking the fucking certain streamers are dumb because of their fucking reliance on orc memes as lore. But
Yeah.
that's a topic for a different day. Go to the TikTok.
Okay, but you can't look at a color scheme like the Tau firework and happen. You're like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I mean,
Specifically
The
12.
Tau-
That's
I
cool.
can because
the
it's Tau.
It's cool. No,
Look, the Tau are cool, especially if you're all about like
clipped.
if you're into
Clipped.
Gundam Wing and shit like that. And yeah, if you're
Clipped,
into
thank you.
Gundam.
I still say you need to paint them like Evas.
No, I
Just
don't
do
like that. I do not like the color scheme. Not at all. No.
Paint them like Eva, Shinji. Do it.
There's certain color schemes where like I look at them whenever I'm painting and I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Paint them all like Eva 1.
No, same deal. Like whenever I was painting a Danny style and he wanted to go for like green, mostly green and along with red, and I'm like,
Yeah, Christmas colors.
yeah, exactly. Because your mind will immediately, it's so strongly ingrained, your mind immediately goes back to Christmas, specifically with like how much of the paint was on there. It's not like
Yeah.
a small amount, or you balance it in like 90, 10, or you have it as tertiary colors. Like, oh no, just green and red all over.
I'm gonna
That's
end up
I
picking
hate
up
that.
Tau out of spite now.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm gonna end up
Face me
picking,
on the battlefield, motherfucker.
I'm gonna pick up Tau
Put
and
on
I'm
when
gonna
I'm
paint
done
them
printing my
all like
stuff.
Eva 1. I'm gonna play Cruel Angel Thesis the entire time we
If
play
I
the
do one Gundam as an Eva, will we leave it there?
No, I'm gonna do
Damn
an
it.
entire army.
I refuse. Combat Patrol, take it or leave it.
I said I'm doing an entire army. I'm
Okay,
doing
okay,
all Eva 1 Tau.
All Eva ones. Okay, I like it.
Purple and lime green trim.
Oh, God. There we go. But what else do we want to say about the Raven Guard? Right? Because I don't. Same deal with the Salmon. I don't want to leave them in the dark. I really don't when it comes to M40. And they got stuff going on, but I can't look at it and be like, this belongs in like a summary. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't belong in like a 2-hour summary of the Raven Guard.
M40 Raven Guard, I have no knowledge of.
They exist. They're doing stuff. They're cool. Ignore that fucking photo. And
The amount of times this photo is gonna be on this episode.
yes, and that is the thumbnail.
I mean-
just that photo. Just that photo.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's gonna be
Fuck
that photo, but it's gonna be Stepbro's picture off to the side and saying, "I hate this."
I hate this so much. No, fuck that. We're just gonna start using like full on clickbait with this stuff. It's gonna be funny.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
It's gonna be going around and like the video title's just gonna be some shit where it's like top 10 reasons why Raven Guards suck. Or some shit like that. Yeah.
You gotta make that dude the thumbnail for this video.
On religious grounds, I refuse. That's horrifying. Bring that up, Jamie. Full image.
Oh, you want full
Full
image? You
Click
want to
on
do
it.
this to
Click on.
yourself?
I want
Bro,
at least
he's got
bigger.
veins. Bro, it's like veiny and wrinkly when you do like.
No, those are scars.
If he was bald, that would be significantly more menacing. You want to take him seriously until the fucking haircut.
Or like, if he had Titus hair or something like
No,
that.
like Ty's hair, yeah, like some other hair like that.
Can
This
I
hair is
speak to
fucking
your
stupid.
manager? It's like a Karen haircut.
Yeah,
That
it
is
is
exactly what it is. It's the Karen haircut.
Like specifically parted so you can see the service studs. Like, it's just shit, bro.
Have you seen my piercings?
I got them at like what's the name? It's not Hot Topic. What does the piercing?
Claire's.
Claire. I got them from
I
Claire's.
got my service studs at Claire's.
Claire's.
That guy.
Hey,
looks
that's
like,
a fucking shirt right there.
That is a shirt. That's
that
a good
fucking guy
idea.
right there looks like he wants to speak to your manager. Like that's exactly what it is right there.
That reminds me, because if you like don't focus on the armor,
in the
if you
Carpathian.
don't focus on the armor and you just focus on the face,
That's all I can focus on.
that explicitly, I could see that as like one thing only with that specific haircut, and I don't want to be canceled.
Is it just me or does he look like he's almost like sucking in his cheeks? Like
Yeah, he's fucking mewing.
Like
He's mewing. That's what's with the fucking.
like he's ready to do a
Step
duck
bro, what
face.
does mewing mean?
Fuck. Mewing, to my understanding, okay, because I'm not brain rotted. So, but to my, I'm an internet, I'm a netizen, so obviously, I grain of salt. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Correct me in comments. Actually, please don't. Let me be wrong. I don't want to learn. Mewing is like doing the little like Chad face almost. We got to do the Chad face. I'm not gonna make
Oh,
an
is that
example.
why the people do the?
It's almost like that. It's like mewing, where you got to do like this. You got almost like jet out of your jaw a little bit, and if you do it somehow, it's supposed to look like more. And one of the big things is having like the back of your jawline somehow being like decently bigger than like the front of your chin. So like right there, you can definitely see the back of his jawline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then almost like the cheeks suck in, and then you have the pronounced like jaw right there.
I have a beard,
That's
so you
like
can't
that
see
type of
my
thing.
jawline.
Like he's sucking on a warhead right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, yeah. Let me pull up. Let me pull
With
up an
that
image.
haircut, it looks like he's sucking on something else.
Or about to.
I see something tasty.
Yeah. That's terrible. It's like his barber started cutting his hair and then gave up halfway through.
I love how we said we didn't want to.
Now look at that. Is it?
I love
You're
how we
seeing it.
said that we didn't
You're
want to
seeing it.
leave them on a bad note, and yet we're just we're ending the episode
honestly,
on dunking on this one picture.
It deserves it. I feel like Raven Guard
Listen,
players themselves will,
yeah.
will follow up on that.
Listen, Stepbro's gonna have this picture up, okay? What I want y'all to do in the comments,
Dude,
is
it's going to stare into the
rag
soul
on it.
of every single person here.
Rag
So-
on it. Give us your best
Actually-
fucking insult.
Actually,
that
hold on,
picture.
because I do have an interesting take that can kind of take them on a better note.
Okay.
Because I did see someone that described them.
Well, I got something that's going to immediately destroy that, so continue.
Oh God, here we go. So I saw something. You know how like a lot, how most legions are based on like.
Why does he have pink eye?
So
No,
we know.
this is just bags.
They're really
Jamie,
pink,
click
I'm
off
just
of the
saying.
picture quick.
It's staring into my soul.
Get- Jamie, click off the picture.
Oh, I kind of like it now. I kind of want to leave it up there.
But so we know how a lot of legions are based off of like certain cultures and
Yeah, yeah.
you know, certain things like that.
Like this one's based off the early 2000s Hot Topic culture. Yeah. that ethnic group.
I
yeah.
saw
Yeah.
a certain theory where like someone kind of made parallels to them and like almost like Native American culture,
Really?
where they have, because a lot of them wear like have like the raven totems, and like ravens are a big thing in like Native American culture. They're
Okay.
like they're messengers of death, and you know,
I
like
feel like most animals are important in Native American culture, though.
I mean, animals that were around them. Not like they didn't
like
have lions
bears,
and
deer.
shit, but I mean like bears, deers, wolves.
White men, fire, water.
Yeah.
All the classic animals. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it
But,
though for these guys, isn't it?
I'll say that's pretty much it. I'm fine with calling it there.
Yeah,
I'm
fine
tired of
with
seeing
calling
that
it there.
fucking
I'm
face.
yeah,
If we forgot anything,
just so
or
I don't
anything
have
else,
to look at
it's
this.
because that goddamn photo has been staring into my fucking soul the entire fucking time, and it looks like it's going to eat my fucking babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
until next time when we talk about the Alpha Legion.
One final thing:
Oh,
if the Raven Guard had a band, what would the name be? Put that in comments.
What? Besides My Chemical Corax?
Yes, stuff like that. Stuff like that.
My
It-
Chemical Core, I can't think of anything better
Honestly,
than that.
yeah. Well, yeah. But I guarantee the audience can. What if the Raven Guard made a band, specifically Corax? What would it be called? Anyways, tell us in comments. Continue.
Until next time, fucking we ball.
Fucking we ball.
Fucking we ball.
Fucking we ball.